truth is buried under layers of silence for security reasons, therefore insecurity. We are broadcasting from an undisclosed location. This is Akashic Echoes, a curiosity-fueled dive into the strange, the hidden, and the wait, what? Corners of human history, where Alex asks the questions others won't. Dr. X opens doors you didn't know existed, and Titus keeps things just grounded enough to follow the thread. It's part investigation, part storytelling, and part late night. What if everything we know is slightly off? We're not here to hand you truth, wrapped in certainty, only to spark thought, entertain the mind, and maybe raise an eyebrow or two. So tune in, enjoy the ride, and remember, take everything with a grain of salt, preferably the size of a small asteroid.
Tonight, we're not looking to the past. We're looking at something far more recent. A facility, remote, powerful, surrounded by antennas and questions, because some believe it studies the sky, and others believe it can control it. So here's the question. Is HAARP a legitimate scientific research program, or something far more capable than we're told? Dr. X, what is HAARP?
Alex, HAARP stands for High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. It is officially a research facility in Alaska designed to study the ionosphere. It uses high-frequency radio waves to temporarily excite charged particles in the upper atmosphere.
Which sounds technical, Doc, but relatively harmless.
On the surface, yes. But the moment you say energy, atmosphere, and modification, people begin to ask different questions.
Like whether it can influence weather, Doc?
Exactly. That's the core of the conspiracy. That HAARP isn't just observing the ionosphere, but manipulating it in ways that could affect weather patterns, communications, even human systems, Alex.
That's a big leap. From studying the atmosphere to controlling it, Doc?
It is, Alex. It is indeed. And most of that leap isn't supported by scientific evidence.
In moments like that, Doc, we call Titus to help us out. Titus, are you there, buddy?
HAARP, which stands for the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, is a scientific research facility located in Gakona, Alaska, designed to study the properties and behavior of the ionosphere, the upper layer of Earth's atmosphere. Originally proposed and constructed in the 1990s by the U.S. Air Force and U.S. Navy, the project was intended for military and academic research. In August 2015, control of the facility was officially transferred to the University of Alaska Fairbanks, UAF, to be operated as an open scientific observatory. The core of the facility is a massive, phased array of 180 high-frequency tower antennas spread across 33 acres. These antennas are used to beam high-power radio frequencies between 2.8 and 10 megahertz into the ionosphere. This briefly excites and heats up a small, localized area of the atmosphere, allowing scientists to observe physical processes.
Whew, that is a lot to digest, buddy. Thanks a lot, Titus. Doc, sometimes a wall of information can be overwhelming. Let's hit the brakes and keep things bite-sized. So scientifically, we're talking about localized, controlled experiments.
Yes, but perception doesn't always follow scale. When something operates out of sight with advanced technology, its perceived power grows.
Let's talk about that perception. Why has HAARP become such a focal point for modern conspiracy theories?
Because it sits at the intersection of three things: science most people don't fully understand, government involvement, and the invisible nature of its work. You can't see the ionosphere being studied, which makes it easy to imagine something more.
And once that idea takes hold, every natural disaster, every unusual weather pattern starts to look intentional.
Exactly. correlation becomes suspicion.
But let's push it. Is there any realistic pathway where technology like HAARP could evolve into something more influential?
Influence, yes, on communication systems, signal propagation, and scientific understanding. Control, on a planetary scale, that crosses beyond current scientific capability.
So we're dealing with a real facility, real science, and an imagined extension of its power.
That's a fair way to frame it. Here comes Titus to help all of us.
Titus, it is, buddy.
And it highlights a broader pattern. Modern conspiracies often grow around real technologies, extending them beyond their verified limits. Despite its purely scientific mandate, HAARP has frequently been the subject of elaborate conspiracy theories. It is often falsely blamed for causing natural disasters, like earthquakes and tsunamis, controlling people's minds, and manipulating global weather patterns. These claims are firmly rejected by the global scientific community, as the energy directed at the atmosphere only affects a localized area of the ionosphere and has no influence on the troposphere where weather occurs.
So HAARP becomes less about what it is and more about what people think it could be.
Yes, a symbol of hidden capability.
Let me ask this. Do you think programs like HAARP contribute to mistrust, even when they're legitimate?
Yes, not necessarily because of what they do, but because of how little most people understand about them. And where understanding is low, speculation fills the space.
So the real phenomenon here isn't just HAARP. It's the gap between knowledge and perception.
Exactly, Alex. Exactly.
A facility in Alaska, a field of antennas, signals sent into a part of the sky we rarely think about. So we're left with this. Is HAARP a misunderstood tool of science, or a reminder that the more complex our technology becomes, the harder it is to tell where research ends and speculation begins? Because sometimes, the most powerful force isn't the technology itself, but what we believe it can do.
Tonight, we explored HAARP, the High-Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, not as myth, but as a meeting point between verified science and amplified perception. A real research facility studying the ionosphere, yet surrounded by narratives that stretch far beyond its proven capabilities. While the science remains grounded in localized atmospheric experiments, the mystery grows in the space where understanding fades and imagination takes over. In the end, HAARP may tell us less about hidden control and more about how modern technology, when unseen and complex, can transform curiosity into suspicion, reminding us that sometimes the most influential force isn't what a system does, but what we believe it might be capable of.
This has been Akashic Echoes. Stay curious, stay aware, and remember, take everything with a grain of salt, preferably the size of a small asteroid.